Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel, Beauty on a Budget. My name is Heather, and this is going to be a different type of a series that I wanted to start. I've been wanting to do this one for a little while, but it's hard between moving and everything getting packed and renovating and everything. And so I really wanted to get into this. I just want to help people. Like, I find even for my own self, if I just set my camera or my phone, just sit there, just have it sitting there, it's going to motivate me to clean my house, even if I'm not recording myself. I don't know why. I just kind of, last few years, I've kind of gotten into this house cleaning thing and my scheduling. And I wanted to take to the next step, and I said I want to incorporate exercise into my, into my daily routine. I'm going to say, like, I'm not that young, but I'm not that old. I'm going to be 47 in October. But I had bought this book from Dollar Tree, and it was either $4 or $5, somewhere in that price range. I can't remember anymore. And it says Live Fit. Oh, yeah, Live Life Fit, if I can read all the words. But it was just, I had seen this and I just thought, you know what, I'd like to get into this type of a journaling kind of like thing to kind of get into exercising. I have my journals that I use for my Bible study, and I thought, this might actually help me get, motivated to want to, get a little more active. And so, it's got these, stuff you can, every day it's got all, whatever days you want to do this. I'm going to do this more like, not an everyday thing, more like a once a week check-in. So every Friday, that's how I'm going to do this. Is every Friday to fill in one of these pages and just kind of go over how my progress for the past week was. Things like that. As I will say, I don't eat, I know I don't eat properly. I know that. I don't drink water. I know that. So to have things like this might actually make me start, going to the next level and just like adding, water, not just coffee and tea, but actually just regular straight water. I've tried eating, when you wake up in the morning, I usually just eat one meal a day. I don't eat if I'm not hungry. I'm one of those people, I don't really snack on things. I don't know. If I'm not hungry, I can't eat. So I just thought, well, maybe if I start exercising, maybe I can, kind of do that. So last month I had started this. This is where I had kind of did this. So this was July 4th, 2025. So it was a Friday. And I have all my different measurements here. I will go over it. But I will say then the following Monday, because I had done the measurements and I said, okay, I've did my measurements on the Friday. Monday, I'm going to start, doing my exercise plan. I had it all on Pinterest, figured out. I was just going to go and print out everything or write everything out, because some of it I can't print out videos. But I was going to write down all my ideas to make my exercise plan. Monday, I fell down those stairs. I fell down my basement stairs cleaning. So last month is just a total... Didn't really exercise. I couldn't. I was recovering from my back. So today is August 8th, so it's also a Friday. So I'm like, okay, fine. Today's a Friday. I'm going to get back into this. So I've got I redid my measurements. So not a lot has changed. A few things changed, which I was surprising, but not a lot. I'd have to say, like in the month, not really doing anything. I hadn't changed anything. I've kind of increased my walking. I've increased some of my exercise things, but I had to be careful with my back. So that was the other thing, is I'm having trouble with my shoulders again. So I got to go back doing my physio again to get my shoulders, going. So that's the other thing that's going to motivate me to do this, is I need to be able to reach up with my left arm. Like today, it's very stiff. So I'll just go over this. So looking up like where to measure, like I know everybody knows like your height and your weight, but your body measurements, and there are so many different ways and places you can measure. Like there's your shoulders, your neck, your biceps, you know, everything. And I'm like, I'm not a bodybuilder. I don't want to do all that. So I just thought, well, where's the important parts for me? Well, my weight, my height, you know, and then I think, well, waist, hips, and thighs. Then I also thought I might as well just do my arms as well, just because I do want to see if I can build muscle, because it's kind of flabby here. I just want to see if I can get some muscle, get these solid arms. I actually used to have pretty good solid muscles until I entered my shoulders, and then I had to quit doing all that type of stuff. So this is last month. My waist was, I'm going to do this, and this is like hard to say. I'm actually going to just list all this stuff. Okay, my waist, 88 inches. My hips, 101. My thighs, I got my left thigh is 59. My right thigh is 58. My arms, my left is 29 and the right is 28. My height, I am 5'3". And I will say my weight last month, and I've got it right down to 149.4 pounds. And then doing your body mass index, when I type in, you know, like my height, weight, and age, and female, my BMI last month was 26.6. So right now I'm considered overweight, which really kind of, you know, I kind of know I've got a few extra pounds I could lose. But I will say, when I started doing this stuff, like it would be probably about 6 years ago, I was at, like, I don't know, just stuff happened, you know, life happens, whatever. I wasn't exercising. We weren't eating good. I was eating what the kids ate. We were eating fast food all the time. I was driving, so wasn't walking. I kind of stopped walking for a long time. My knees were hurting, which is why I went to driving. But yeah, so 6 years ago, I was over 170 pounds. And so I was considered, like, you know, when you do your BMI, when you're above the 30, when your BMI is above 30, you are in the obese. I was considered, I never thought of myself. I just said, oh, I'm a little overweight. But, you know, 170 pounds when you're 5'3". I'm going to say, I didn't really look it. Like, I've got a figure. I'm going to say, okay, one thing is, you know, my bigger chest, awesome. You know, I got some curves to me. That was kind of fun. That was, you know, like to get that nice hourglass figure kind of thing. But it was my stomach is, you know, when your stomach is bigger than your chest, it's like no clothes were fitting. I was, you know, that actually made it worse when I couldn't wear none of my clothes. I could wear an outfit one day, I wake up the next day, I couldn't get my clothes back on. I don't know why. That just started about 6 years ago, something. Around that time, I was also having so many food allergies that anything I ate just made me so sick. And so I always just thought, oh, it's my body can't produce, you know, can't digest gluten. So you get that. That's what you always read. It's like, oh, if your body can't absorb the gluten, can't digest this, can't do this, you're just gonna hold on, and your body's gonna hold on to all this stuff, and it's gonna store all this stuff that it can't, you know, eliminate. Your body can't eliminate it. Some of this stuff just, you know, didn't sound right, but, you know, I kind of fell for some of that stuff. So I did a huge elimination diet a few years back, and I've did another one recently because I've had so many more foods that made me sick in the last 2 years. So I've done the elimination diet. So I'm on an elimination diet at the moment. I take everything out and I just put focused one food group in. And then I do find when I eat stuff, I will have an allergic reaction right away. Like my last one was the other day, I had pop. I had an allergic reaction to pop. I haven't had pop in I don't know how long. Just a spicy cola. My lips just swelled. I had like 2, maybe 3 sips of the pop and my lips swelled. I did say I did spend a lot of money on that pop. So I'm going to try again and see. I said it could just be glass bottles. Wasn't wiped off. You know, drinking from the bottle. Could have been contamination of something else. So I'm going to retry the pop again. I'm going to pour it into my own cup. Not drink out of the bottle. I have found that too. With certain things that I can't eat or drink off of certain type of utensils. They bother me. You know, metal forks. Sometimes I get this really bad metallic taste in my food. But yeah, I just have to figure those ones out. But so, like I said, this is why I wanted to do this, is to kind of like help motivate other women too, or other people too. Just say, you know, like, just, you know, changing your diet, adding exercise. It's easy to say, it's easy to do, but it's hard to maintain. So this morning I redid my measurements. I'll just say, so my waist is 86, my hips are 100, my thighs are both at 59, my arms are both at 28, and I was surprised that my weight went up a little bit, but this is what happens when you weigh yourself on the scales that actually go to like the pounds and ounces, I guess. So I was 150 pounds, 0.6. So I will say, with not being able to do a lot, recovering from my fall, my back was really bruised. It hurt to breathe for about 2 weeks. It hurt to lift my arms. So I said my arms really are both really stiff now, which is why I really want to get back into this and get my going back to doing my basic physio, which I should be doing every day if I want to get my mobility back in my arm. But with just a little bit of increased activity, I was able to lose like 2 inches off my waist and 1 inch off my hips. And I'm going to do this, just see, how's this going to work? I don't really know how this is going to work. Okay. So these jeans I was wearing like a month ago, and they actually were too tight. I don't know what size they are. I'll have to look that up. They were just too tight a month ago. I couldn't get the button to do up. This was back in June. So yeah, like the end of June. Well, today I can actually pull them on and off, done up. So that little bit, like, you know, my stomach does this jiggly thing, that little 2 inches that I lost right in here and that little inch down here made a huge difference. Now my jeans, you know, I've got room. Because I don't know what size these are. I'll pause for a second and just, I gotta fix my jeans anyways. Okay, the jeans say that they are a 34-inch waist. So whatever, I don't know, but like I said, a month ago, or June, I couldn't even do them up. I have a stack of clothes that I can't wear. I've got pants that I bought them. New ones I just bought. Skirts I just bought. They fit when I was buying them in the store. 2 weeks later, I can't get the skirts to go up my hips. It's like, I don't understand this. Then I'll wait a couple days and then it's like I can put them on, and I don't understand why this is happening. And it's really frustrating because it's been going on for a good 6 years, maybe a little longer than that, but I know for sure for 6 years. Because it started, you know, and it was before COVID. So, you know, that's what I'm thinking. Maybe it's 7 years ago. I do know 8 years ago, I really had to just flip everything I ate around because I was just, everything made me sick. Even now, there's a lot of things that make me sick. So with that being said, yeah, like I said, so this is just a basic thing. And like I said, for the measurements, quite a few years ago, some fitness place, you know, was passing these out, you know, probably to get people to want to join their gym or whatever. So I still have it because I let my kids play with it. So, but it's just easy. It's one of these, any type of, you know, measuring tape thing, whatever. So just like that. just doing a basic measurement. I mean, like I said, there are so many places that you could choose to measure. I just went with the basic ones. So there's other places, like I said, for the guys, you can do your neck, you can do around your shoulders. Women, you can do around your chest. I really don't care. I said the main ones I care about is my waist, and that's, just trying to see if I can lose some of that extra weight around my stomach area. It's been a long time, and it just, I'm actually way more now than I did during my pregnancies. I have 4 kids, and so I don't know, I gotta figure that one out. But I just thought that this book would really help me to get more organized, and I figure if I'm gonna do this, maybe if I film myself going through this, it might encourage other people too. Like I said, this book was from Dollarama, and I said it was between $4 and $5. So I'm going to, like I said, I just took the back pages here where you can write notes. So I've got July measurements and then these measurements. So like I said, my weight's probably around the same. So my BMI is probably still at 26.6-ish range. So I'll explain this about the body mass index. I don't really want to use that as a scale of where you should be, like your ideal weight, based on your height. I don't fully agree with that to the extent of, because I've typed in different weights to see where they fall on the scale at different points in my life. Like, oh, I was this weight at this age, plug it in to see where it sits, and I don't agree with it. But I think it gives you a good indicator of kind of like where your weight and your height is, because that's a big factor too. Your height plays an important factor. But so if you're, my glasses are in the other room, but okay, I'll just try to read this off my little handwriting here. So from the BMI, there's 4 categories. So you've got underweight if it's below 18.5. You're healthy if it's 18.5 to 24.9. You're overweight if it's 25 to 29.9, and you're in the obesity if it's above 30. So mine is nearly 30. Like, I guess it's halfway in that overweight category, but it's, so there's been times when I've been, once I hit 160 pounds, 165, somewhere in that range, I will then be in the obese range, which was really scary because I just thought, oh, a little overweight. But you type in this BMI and it says you're obese. That's why I don't fully agree with it. But I will say there's other factors into that type of stuff that these little calculators online you can't plug in all the little factors. There are some of the body mass index calculators that will ask for more info. I just found the basic one. I just typed BMI calculator. The first one that Google finds is what I just typed in these numbers. It just asks for your age, your height, male or female, and your weight. It just gives the most basic little one. I mean, if you really wanted to get into, like, if you're really wanting to get into like more bodybuilding type stuff, body sculpting, other exercise stuff like that, there's different things that they use, like they can calculate your fat percentage and things like that. I don't care about. I just need to know the basic just so I know kind of where I should be and where I am. So I will be back, like I said, so next Friday I will redo all my measurements and see where I fall. Just see if I've, like how things have gone up and down. And I will say the tricky thing is your weight fluctuates every day. The time of day that you weigh yourself, when you do your measurements, how you measure. I mean, I'm just using this little one here. Like I said, my kids played with it for years. It might be a little broken. As long as you use the same thing, like I know a friend of mine who, she didn't have a tape measure like this, so she just used a piece of string. And so she just, had a piece of string, and she was really, a lot heavier. I would consider her more obese or overweight than myself. But, so she had her kids, so she held a piece of string and she had her kids walk around, bring the string around. And then she laid it out. And she said she cried when, she laid it out, and it's her, going around her body, if laying out was longer than her kids. I will say, she did after that, she worked hard. She did lose a lot of weight after that. Not going to say what she did because I would not agree with what she did, but she did what she thought was best for her. But she did lose a lot of weight. But it was that, you got to see where you are, and when you write down the numbers or just look at the numbers on a scale or on a measuring tape or something, it's going to change how you view yourself. Like I said, like when I go clothes shopping, I'm a medium. Which, even like I said, these jeans here, a 34-inch waist, that's like, I've got jeans that are 28 to, 28, 29 inch, which is, so these ones to 34. So like I said, I kind of, instead of losing weight, I kind of just did the other side, just buy up a size of pants, buy up a size of shirt, buy just a little bit bigger. Then you're not dealing with, well, why are you a little bit bigger? So now that's what I want to focus on is, why did I allow myself to get just a little bit? There's nothing wrong with a little. I will say I have been on the opposite side of this, which is why I don't fully agree with this body mass index, where somebody like me, 150 pounds, and I'm considered like overweight, almost like even 160 pounds, I'd be right there, that cutoff between overweight and obese. And I'm like, I don't agree with that. I just think some of these things are made to make people feel worse about their bodies. That's why I said, like, for the longest time, because I have 4 kids, I had 3 girls and 1 son, I did not have a full-length mirror in my house, and I never owned a scale with my girls growing up. Didn't want it in my house, so I didn't know how much they weighed. If I ever needed to know how much they weighed or just curious, we would just go to the store and we would just, test the scales, go to Value Village or something and say, well, does the scale work? How much does it say you were on this scale? How much does it say you're on this scale? Just kind of having fun when they're little kids, just kind of keeping a track of that without having a scale in my home. I did it for myself too. I just knew, because I was on the opposite side, I will say, when I was 21 years old, 21, 22, I was expecting my first. I was less than 80 pounds. The week she was born, I was up to 160, which is why I can't figure out why, like 160 when you're pregnant, 160, to me, it just doesn't sound like, I know one of my pregnancies, I know it was up to over, it was up to 210 at my biggest pregnancy weight. But I will say, the day after I had my baby, I'm leaving the hospital. Actually, all 4 of my kids leaving the hospital. Maternity clothes don't fit. So it was all baby weight, everything. But so going in, under 80 pounds, having her, 160 the week that I had her. And then at the next checkup, just a couple days after I had her, I was down to 110. And I will say, my weight has fluctuated a lot. And I can honestly say, I had it written down. Not on here. I had it written down, and I will find that, and I'll actually go over that the next time about the body mass index. I had written things down. And I said, you know, like I said, being that where I've been like under 100 pounds, you know, even in my 20s, even with my kids, like after I had my second, I was down to like 100 pounds after I had my second baby. So 24 years old, I'm 100 pounds. I've had 2 kids. And then by the time, you know, I had my son, the weight just kind of gained, and I had trouble losing it. But with my fourth, you know, same thing. She was born that I was smaller after I had my kids than I am now. And I think it's just, I kind of allowed myself to gain that little bit of weight because I allowed myself to gain a few pounds because I know how much better I felt when I was at those pregnancy weights versus before pregnancy weight, if that makes any sense. So I know for myself, I will never want to be down to below 120. It sounds wrong. I even have this thing saying, I don't really want to go below 130. But, you know, 120, 130, that's kind of like anything below that. I've been those weights. So you can wear smaller clothes. I don't know. I felt myself at those times, like after having the extra weight of carrying the babies and then losing it all, I found it more comfortable having those extra pounds. I felt better. Or maybe I felt healthier. I don't know. I just try to figure out why I just say that. But no, I felt better about myself having a little bit of extra weight. So you allow yourself to gain a little pound here, a little pound there. You don't really care. Like I said, so I just kind of started buying clothes one size up. Jeans. Oh, one size up, one size up. Well, how many one size ups are you going to allow yourself to go before you're saying, okay, why am I allowing myself to do this? What is causing me to, well, it's not just, it's like, well, what is causing the weight gain? That is the other thing, is if you don't eat, how can you gain weight? And so that's kind of where I am at now. I'm like, if I've eliminated junk food completely out of my diet, I've eliminated bread almost completely out of, like I say, like 99%. Like, bread is like very rare. Do I have bread? There's so much stuff to eliminate, and it's still gaining the weight. It's like I can't figure it out. But I'm hoping through this process of maybe just adding some more exercise in there, I can kind of balance it out. Because even if you like just eat the bare minimum, the requirements that your body needs to do its daily function, if you're not doing anything, then even the minimum calories eaten can still be just enough for you to kind of gain all that weight. Also, when you hit that point, which I know from experience, when you try to starve yourself, every little food particle that you eat, your body is just going to hold on to it and store it somewhere in your body. And then you start eating regularly, and your body just won't let that go. And so, I mean, I wouldn't really say I starve myself. I mean, I say I eat 1 meal a day. I'm not hungry, I can't eat. If I'm not thirsty, I can't drink. It's just, I don't know, just if I don't feel it, I can't do that. But yeah, so this is going to be, like I said, long intro, but this is going to be an interesting weekly update thing. So I'm going to do this, like I said, today's just a longer one. Just, I don't know what but again, just, yes, thank you. And I'll be back next week to see how well this week went for me. All right, so welcome back. I changed out of my other clothes. I've got this workout outfit on. Not wearing the proper undergarments for it, but that's okay. I just didn't have time to look for my sports bras. So I just moved my clothing rack over that way, so I've got more room here. This is the only space I have at the moment to do these exercises. So I'm not doing big fancy things. This is all no equipment needed. I do have exercise equipment. I just don't have any place to bring it all out. And I just really want to get back into exercising. I just thought, well, if I do it this way, You can see how easy it is. So I found 6 basic exercises, and these are like no equipment. In fact, I'm doing this for the next month. So I'm going from August 5th to, I had it written down, to September 5th is a full, about 30-ish days. Or 20, I guess it's like 28, 29 days, whatever. But it's like the full month. I missed the first week of, I kind of missed the first week of August, so I'm kind of going to do to the first week of September kind of a thing. So I got like about a month here. I've got it set out for 4 different Fridays as my check-in kind of things. So I'm calling these next 4 weeks that I'm doing this every day, I'm calling it a no equipment 100 a day challenge. So you do 100 each of these little exercise. It's supposed to help burn calories and stuff, and I'm not really, I would love to have my equipment, really get into it. I've got the stuff for Pilates, yoga, everything, but I'm just going to do this basic stuff because anybody can do it. I am wearing my runners in my house. I do have like yoga socks, and I do have my yoga mat. I just not gonna dig them out at this moment. So just jumping jacks, lunges, squats, butt kicks, elbow to knee, and toe touch. Very simple. So like I said, I'm just doing basic, easy things that anybody can do without any equipment. So just see. So jumping jacks, everybody knows jumping jacks. It's gonna be really hard because actually here I'm gonna do this. So you can see it's really hard. I cannot straighten this arm out. So trying to do it, my arms don't fully touch, but 100 of those. The butt kicks, those are fairly easy to do as well. Anybody can do it. So just basically running on the spot. And the higher up you can kind of get your foot up, the better. I'm going to say just because I'm starting out, I don't have the mobility or flexibility like I used to have. And then the same with, oops, sorry, I'm just trying to, it's hard to do this. Elbow to knee, so that's just, yeah, figure this. I will figure out where to stand. So it's just, you can do the same knee to elbow, but I like to cross. And then the toe touch. Again, this is one of those ones that's kind of hard to do. You can kick the same foot, but again, I like to do opposite, just so you get more stretch. And I'm going to say, trying to keep your legs straight, trying to keep your arms straight. It is so hard when you haven't done these for a while. You may have to bend your knees, and you can even just do slower ones. Maybe I'll just step back there. Just kind of bring your knee, or just lift your knees up and just touch your toes. But the idea is to try to get to where you're actually like kicking to. And then the lunges, that's pretty easy. Just, lunge. I'm not going full down at the moment. I love to do lunges when I have weights in my hand, but I'm not going to do that. So lunges are pretty easy. And squats, same thing, just kind of down and up, down and up. So the idea is if you do 100 of each of these 6 without equipment, you should really notice it, especially do it every day. I'm not fully doing them to the full, my technique is not quite proper on some of them. It's been a long time since I've done some of these. I don't have a lot of space at this moment. I'll move out to my living room where I've got more room, but it's harder to film right now. But that is what I want to do, every day for the next month, and just see, if it does anything. It's supposed to, I believe it should, help to kind of lose a few pounds. I mean, I'm not somebody who's looking to drastically, get rid of a lot of weight. I just kind of want to get, you can see how I'm going up and down stairs, I get winded. few little things I just did now, I'm feeling winded. So I'm hoping if you do this, you know, every day, that I'll be less winded doing basic things. Like I said, I know this is just one of those longer videos, but this is just one of these challenges I want to create for myself. And I just thought if I film my journey on it, maybe it'll get somebody else to want to do their own. And I've got the notebook right here. So now that I've got the 6 exercises figured out that I'm going to do, I'm going to start writing them all down in here. Now, I'm not going to do these for every day. Like I said, these are just be like a 1 week, so I can check up and check off, and I'll write down, you know, like in this page here, Monday through Sunday. Now, I'm probably not going to do it on Sunday, because Sunday I wanted to keep that as my rest day. But I figure these are basic things. Even if I did a few of them on a Sunday, like watching TV, just, you know, stretch or something. But yeah, so I just want to keep track of this, so I will write down my exercise plan in here, and I will, you know, see how well I've done this week. Next Friday, which will be the, I know what next Friday is. Okay, the 15th. So I'll check back in on the 15th and just do a quick update and see how well I've done for this whole week of trying to get all these exercises done. So again, like I said, this is just going to be like a new little segment kind of a thing that I want to try. So again, just thank you so much to everybody who subscribes to my channels and watches my videos. And I will see you in the next ones. Bye.